Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the Shuck, and you're very welcome back to a Sunday ramble. And that's what it's going to be. I'm going to ramble on about three of my latest UK custom makers that I've received knives from. I bought these knives. All right, granted, I've had a little bit of discount in this one and a bit of discount in this one. And I actually think I got a little bit on that one. But not huge amounts, but nice bit of discount. But I just want to talk about them and give you my honest opinion, having used these three quite extensively. I have put them through their paces in my world. That might be different from yours, but in my world, I've really put these through their paces. And I have to say, all three of them came through with flying colours. So as of use, can I separate the three of them? Not in use. No, I use most of them for the same thing. In fact, I used them all for the same thing, if I'm honest. Now, some done a wee bit of other stuff that the others didn't, but it matched out really fairly. I just think in use, absolutely no qualms about giving 100% on the knife makers themselves and their blades, and their heat treatment all seem to be good. Now, let's actually, before I get to that, I just want to say a huge thank you to all those who have already put their names down for our new club knife. It's going to be this knife here. This is the Tackler from Arthur Wright. It's going to be this, but it is going to have these exact green liners on it all the way round. You still got the brass as well, and this is actually custom, so I just wanted to show you. We were trying the green liners out on a knife that we bought off him. This is the knife you're going to get. This is a working knife, and you got to keep this in mind. I mean, they maybe don't come right up the center. These are knives, they don't touch. This one's off center a bit, but they don't touch. There's plenty of room up there. This is a £40 knife. That's what we're charging for it. It's £40. It's going to have our own stamp. We're in the process of getting it made and paying for our own stamp, which is going to be on our club knives in the future. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to have, I am and I'm not. The quantity of knives that we thought we would probably get is doubled. Basically in 2 days, what we thought we might get. We didn't want to be too ambitious because we weren't sure what it would be like, but it has doubled. The response has been amazing. So I think in the next probably 2 days, 1 day or 2 day, it's going to close. So if you haven't got your name down, go to the video before this or the podcast on Thursday, and it gives you the details of how you can order and then pay for. You'll not be paying for up front. We'll not do that until we've got the order completely confirmed, and then we'll accept the money off you, which will probably be by the end of next week. The knives will not be out until probably we're hoping the end of March, beginning of April. That's a rough date. So, and I think those who have already bought one have already received our first email letting you know that. But we'll keep you up to date, whatever. If it's coming earlier or later, you'll get to know in plenty of time. But thank you so much for everybody so far. I honestly think maybe a day or 2 days and it'll be closed. So don't miss out on this opportunity to get the knife. So there you go. That's that. Now, the three knives. This one is made by Shing. This one is made by Ashley Harrison. And this one is made by Matt at Self-Made Knives. I'm going to go through them just one at a time in the order that I ordered them. The first one is the Shing. You've seen this on the channel. I've showed it. I've done a review on it. I have continuously used it because it's Shing's version of a sodbuster, basically, and I just think it is stunning. The scales, let me show you these scales. This is Tufnell, which is the newish sort of material out. It is fantastic. It is beautifully done, smooth. It's not a rough texture, but it gives you plenty of grip once you go into it. The blade is stunning. It's in 52-100, which is a fantastic working steel. It's starting to show wear and tear now where I've hit hot things with it, and I've used this for steak and a couple of other hot meals. It's just gorgeous. It really is a beautiful blade. Nice thin stock, but not an overly thin tip. Maybe it does look like that, but it's not. I had no fear of putting it in and twisting it in wood. Now, granted, I didn't put a huge amount of torque on it because that's not what this knife is for. But I always do it just to see if I can get a wee hole started in wood, and there's not a problem. I love the bird's eye pivot. I just love everything about this knife. The fit and finish on it is fantastic. Not a gap anywhere. It is beautifully done by Shing. I adore it. I love the high place where he's put the crescent moon nail nick. This has got a half stop. It's about a 6.5 pull. Just a super work knife. Locks up lovely, and yet you've got that spring retention there. It is just a stunning knife. You can close this one-handed, like you can most of them, to be honest, but as an EDC knife, and I mean, I use my customs because I'm too old not to. For God's sake, it could be my last week. So Shing, a great British maker. He's been a custom maker for about 15 years now. So reliable, good man. I really like him. We have a podcast we've done with Shing, which was super. One of the best podcasts we've done. One of the best. Really lovely podcast. Very genuine person. And I think you'll warm to him if you watch that podcast. The next one I'm going to talk about is my Ashley Harrison. Now, everybody knows I'm an Ashley Harrison just fanboy. Look at this knife. Look how beautiful that is. Them green liners really make it pop. They really do make it. There's lovely back spring done on it. The bolster is beautiful, and that's his trademark. It's got an A, and then the back part is a W. It looks like a candelabra, or candelabra, I should say, not a candelabra. A and S, so it's Arthur, Wright, and Sons. I love that on the bolster and a Barlow. I just adore it. It really is lovely. The wood on this is lignum vitae, which is an incredibly hard wood, so hard that it sinks. It doesn't float. It's a heavy, it's just a gorgeous wood. It really is. And funnily enough, when you turn it round to the green, you can see the green hues coming off this wood, which I didn't notice until I seen it with the liners. It's just beautiful. This green will go with anything. So that will be on your club knife as well. And we will have our own bolster rather than having, now this one's got an Ashley, rather than having this on the bolster, you will have the Paddy and Pals in a shamrock on the bolster on ours, and that's it. So really pleased with that. Super knife, centered, everything about this knife I adore. I just love it. And it's a fat spear on it, so it does for everything. It does for everything. Beautiful knife. Lovely. That's one of my favourite EDC knives ever from Ashley. And I know I'm a clip point man, but this blade, everything about it, I just love. It's top of the charts at the minute. But then I got this. And this is from Matt at Self-Made Knives. And this fit and finish, lovely tight springs, right up the centre. Fit and finish the fit is absolutely fantastic. There's a couple of little small finish issues, but I'm not going to go into that today because I've done that in my video. He asked me to be ruthless in the video, so I was. And these are things that they're not even annoying me now, and yet I know they're there. They're just tiny little things, and I think for the price range, it needs to be up to that level before you get to that price level. But it is a fantastic bloody knife. I mean, this is one of the most secure knives. I can't even muscle a wiggle at all in that. It is superbly made, lovely thin stock, but not an ultra thin edge, a tip on it. Again, I can poke in with wood, and I did. And I actually used this on some of the thickest cardboard I have ever used. I really should have used a fixed blade for it. It was that thick to get through. And this managed it. And it was a tough job for it. And I was having to give it plenty of gumph to get through it. It's not a huge blade on it. So I was giving it plenty of willy and there was nothing. The knife just didn't bother at all and kept on going through it. Beautiful, beautiful in hand. The blade shape, it's Matthew likes a Nessmuck, and you can see that hint of Nessmuck in the fatter part of the blade here, thin here, and then a tip. But just an amazing work knife. An amazing work knife. This is in micarta, and it is beautiful micarta. It really is lovely. It feels warm to the touch. It's funny, between the two, this is the Tufnell. And I know it's just another fancy name for micarta, but I don't know, there's something about the micarta on this. This is beautiful again. It's lovely to the touch. And I really am becoming a micarta. But Tufnell, if you want a comparison, a really nice polished micarta is what the Tufnell's like. And it is sticky. I'm pushing my thumb on that. You can see my thumb moving on that. It just doesn't slip. So really good. This, honestly, I love it because it's different. It's not your usual blade shape. It's not the usual blade shape I go for, but it's not gone over the top. It hasn't got a big bendy handle. I don't particularly like them. This is great. When you hold it, it keeps the blade pointing straight out in front of you. Super for an EDC knife. Although it has a point, you do have to get right up there, but you can. I mean, that's not an awkward stance to run your point along, which is another good thing. The belly is great for cutting your sandwiches, eating food, which I have done with this. This one comes in RWL 34, which is another great steel. This is 01 tool steel, and this one is 52 100. So all great steels. There's nothing between the steels that would worry me. They all strop really well. They genuinely strop well. I haven't had to sharpen any in the use that I've had. Just the strop brings them back. And I just want to promote the fact that in this country, we have some fantastic British knife makers. And try them. I mean, these ones from Shing are about 180. I think this is around 150 to 180. This one was 240. I would love to see that. I'd love to see him fix them little issues that I had for me. And then, you know, I would have no problem with that whatsoever. But just as knives goes, you're not going to pick 3 knives up anywhere and get any better of a response from them as I done with these. These made me feel secure. They made me feel as if I could handle anything. There is nothing in my EDC that these knives will not handle. And they're at a price range where now not everybody, and I know not everybody can, I couldn't at one stage, but these are a price that I could buy and use. And that's what I want to do with them. I want to use them. There's no point sitting in my drawers anymore. So, I mean, if you get something like this, use it. Use it, because that's what they're for. That's what the makers want to see their knives being done. They want to see them used. I mean, I'm terrible. I don't polish anything. I haven't polished this before the show. I'll do it afterwards, maybe. But just don't do it. It's just not me. I just use the knives. Now, if I'm going to do a special video or something about it, I might stick a bit of polish on, but I just keep them clean. I don't polish, over polish, because to me, these are just tools. I'm not that OCD that I have to have them sparkling every time. Not when they're users. If they're just fancy pieces that are going to sit in my collection, I'll polish them to the hilt and let them sit there. But that doesn't happen very, very often. So there you go, a little quick ramble, but just to let you know, keep on the lookout for British makers. I'll give you the names of these. I'll put the 3 names down below in the description. If you just go down, hit the wee arrow, and it'll drop down. I'll give you the 3 names of these. Go over and check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Get to know them, see their knives, and I think you'll be really, really pleased at what you can get at very affordable prices in the UK. And if you're from overseas, I know they'll post them to you. If you want one from these makers, they will post you one if you can get on their books. Take care. Paddy's away. Have a great day. And thank you again for everybody who has bought the new Paddy and Pals podcast knife. I'm so happy. Take care. Bye-bye now.